Draw! Cowpokes, are you ready for a showdown or a rank show?
We just did the finger pistols.
Yes.
We're gonna get fined by the NFL.
I like the finger pistols. I think I'm just going to keep doing them.
We'll keep doing it. We can talk about it today. We are talking about Mötley Crüe's top 5 albums. They don't have a huge discography. There have been, lineup changes and different things and a lot of time in between releases. But if you're going to talk about what I don't like to say, but I'm going to say it, hair metal bands, there really is not one that is more definitive than Mötley Crüe.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And you were a teenager at the time they burst onto the scene. Tell us a little about what that was like.
They were not my cup of tea.
Which is kind of crazy because those early days for this band, they were very much a punk band.
Yeah, I mean, all those bands, because what was going on in L.A., a punk band would maybe be on the same bill as Mötley Crüe. And they were an outgrowth of glam, which I love glam.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They took all of those ingredients and kind of put them together into this monstrosity that became like the LA scene.
Yeah.
And these guys were kind of the poster children for hair metal and what became of the 80s. And there are plenty of people that love them. There are plenty of people that hate them. They would have been a good divisive band.
Oh, yeah.
To talk about. But you can't ignore the importance.
Oh, no.
Of what they did for the music scene, music videos, how many records they sold, how many bands got put together and pushed out by the record industry because of Mötley Crüe's popularity. So I think it begs us to do a top 5 studio.
Absolutely. This
releases.
Is going to be a good one. For me, they're really a greatest hits band.
Yeah. And you're fine with that.
Yeah.
And their greatest hits album is really good. If you see it anywhere and you have the means, pick it up because it's a good cross section of the band. And they're one of those bands that, if that's all you want to listen to, that's great. You don't have to go from record to record. Just put, 1 or 2 records on and listen to their whole history. The best record out there is Vinyl Ventures, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're going to start with Mötley Crüe's number 5 album. And I think that we're just going to go ahead and start with something controversial. A lot of you might not recognize this, but this is Saints of Los Angeles, and this was released on June 24th, 2008. This is a surprisingly good and strong record, and I feel like it belongs in the top 5. Like I said, they don't have a huge catalog, but I remember when this was released, I got it, and I was just blown away at how much I liked it. It's not a concept album, but a lot of the songs kind of revolve around that history in the 80s. And there's some stories told in these songs about what it was like to be this band at that time. And just the title song alone is worth the price of admission. We can listen to it after the show.
I definitely want to hear some of it because I don't know it.
Yeah. And, 2008 is obviously after Vince came back into the band, many years after Vince came back into the band. But you wouldn't expect a band at that point in their career to put something out that really catches people. And I remember hearing the song. I did hear it on radio a couple times. And I just remember listening to the whole album and thinking, good on you guys. You really did a great comeback album.
How long was it in between releases? So this came out in 2008. What was the release?
This came out in 2008, and I want to say the album before that, I could go ahead and look it up, but I'm not going to. I think the album before that, it may have been 8 years. It may have been 96 when Vince came back to the band after John Corabi was with them. They did Generation Swine, and I believe that was 97. So it would have been 7 years.
No, that would have been
9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not real.
11.
07 to 08, you're right. See, we're not real good at math here. We're not real good at math. But yeah, that's my number 5. And I love the way that the cover looks, just the black and white. It's really cool. So number 5, and I've already given you a clue as to what number 4 is because
so no more turns.
Okay. Mötley Crüe, Girls, Girls, Girls. This came out in 1987. Obviously, the big song off of it was Girls, 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 but there were a few other singles released off of this. Wild Side, that was the first one, and that's notable because the video for that was shot at Market Square Arena.
Oh.
I was there. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The other single is You're All I Need, and that video ended up getting banned really before it got released on MTV. It was the song is about domestic violence, and the video portrayed that, and MTV
Yeah, it was just too racy.
Not to say that. But this is the height of what everybody loves to call hair metal. This was released in May of 87. So I was 13 at the time, and man, I got to tell you, seeing this band live as a 13-year-old kid was quite an event. And this was at the time when shows were experimenting with general admission seating. So it was just as soon as the doors open, you run in and you go get a seat. You don't have assigned seats. And the story I tell about the general admission is I skipped school to get in line. It wasn't for this tour. It was for Dr. Feelgood. I skipped school and spent all day in line, and my sister ended up being 2 rows in front of me, and she just got there like 30 minutes before the show started. So, but yeah, Girls, 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 number 4. This was at a time when this band was, they were putting out albums and they were touring, and it was a machine. And there were a lot of drugs, and there was a lot of drinking and a lot of crazy stuff going on. But once you become a part of that machine, you either keep it going or you get chewed up by it. So number 4, Girls, Girls, Girls. Oh, I'm gonna say that number 3 is Dr. Feelgood. This is obviously their biggest selling album and their biggest album success wise. The singles off this were Dr. Feelgood, Kickstart My Heart, Without You, Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away, and Same Old Situation. So they really had a lot of releases from this. This came out August of 89, and it topped the Billboard 200, making it the band's only album to do that. And it was the first album that they recorded after their quest for sobriety. That was another big thing. They were supposedly sober, not drinking, not drugging when they recorded this. And that's probably not exactly true.
Maybe when they recorded it.
Yeah.
You go to the studio, you're sober, you go home, you're not.
Yeah, it's funny because in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, it was a big deal. Bands made big deals about sobriety. Aerosmith did it. Mötley Crüe did it. And when you think about it, it's another marketing thing.
Yeah.
Hey, we know that we've done every drug that exists, but now we're not. Right? So it's going to sell records. It's going to get attention in interviews on television, and it's going to sell concert tickets too. So number 3,
What's
Dr.
number
Feelgood.
2?
Number 2, Too Fast for Love. Now, this is their first record. This came out in November of 81. There was an independent version of this before they got the major label record deal. It was on their own record label called Leather Records, and on on that cover, Mötley Crüe is in white, and Too Fast for Love, I believe, is in white. This is a punk rock album, really. They were lovers of punk. They were lovers of David Bowie. They were lovers of glam. They were lovers of Kiss. And all of that converged for this band to come together. And it really is a trip to listen to this, because these guys were, 20, 21 years old at the time, and just on the edge of taking over the world as a big rock band. And it's a place and time for sure.
Would this be the most iconic cover?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers thing.
Yeah.
And just takes it into a new decade with like the bullet belt and the spikes
Yeah.
and the leather and everything. But yeah, it's when you see it, it's instantly recognizable.
Yeah, you know who it is right away.
Yeah. And, a lot of people would probably put this at the top of their top 5 list for Mötley Crüe. Here it is number 2.
Number 2.
And that brings us
to number 1.
Numero uno, which for me is Shout at the Devil. The first time I heard this band, my neighbors, the Manley brothers, had this on vinyl. And I was over at their place, and they're like, hey, you got to listen to this. And they played Shout at the Devil, and my teenage mind just exploded. And then I looked at if you hold the gatefold, I looked at these pictures of these men on the inside with the fire and the leather. And
it's very Kiss-like.
Yeah, and the bullet belts. And I was instantly enthralled with these guys. And the original pressing of this had a message on the back that said, this record may contain backward messages, because that was a big thing back in the day. And of course, what's that going to make you do? It's just going to make you
buy the album and find out.
Yeah, and listen more. So I remember us trying to play it backwards on the Manley's record player and, hearing Satan talk to us through rock and roll music. But Mötley Crüe is a band that a lot of people love to hate and deride, but they really took that punk ethos through their entire career, and they're really still going with it nowadays too. Mick Mars is no longer their guitarist. John Five plays guitar for them. That's really the only difference in the band. I mean, Vince left for a while, and John Corabi was the singer. And that album that came out in '94 is absolutely, it would be on this top 5 if I had it on vinyl, but I don't. And we only talk about records that we own. So, but yeah, man, Mötley Crüe. I know it's not your cup of tea, but it is certainly an important piece.
I don't deny it at all.
Of rock and roll history. So if you guys want to go to our social media and speak with us about what you'd like us to do top 5s on, we'd love to hear from you. When they go there, what else do we want them to do, John?
Well, we want you to go back to the YouTube channel right here, subscribe, give us that thumbs up, and comment. Tell us your top 5.
And share. And what did you say before? If it's your vibe.
If it's your vibe, subscribe.
And we just want to thank you all for coming along with us on this little top 5 journey. And, tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us the things that you'd like us to open. Tell us all of these things, because we listen to you guys. We want to thank you for watching. We want to thank you for listening. We want to thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, all of those things. Mostly, we want to thank you for being a part of our vinyl gang.